Amateshwari Namaha. A warm welcome to everyone present here. I now invite the dignitaries to light the lamp.
ध्यायामो धवलावगुण्ठनवतीं तेजोमयीं नैष्टिकीं स्निग्धापाङ्गविलोकिनीं भगवतीं मन्दस्मितश्रीमुखीं वात्सल्यामृतवर्षिणीं सुमधुरं सङ्कीर्तनालापिनीं श्यामाङ्गीं मधुसिक्तसूक्तिम् अमृतानन्दात्मिकाम् ईश्वरीम्.
Education is fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. The National Education Policy 2020 is a comprehensive framework to guide the development of education in the country. The program will initiate a thought process to contribute towards the restructuring of academic curriculum based on National Education Policy 2020. This 3-day faculty development program is being hosted by the Department of Visual Media and Communication, Amrita School of Arts and Science, Kochi campus, and co-organized by Department of Commerce and Management, Kochi campus, Department of Visual Media and Communication, Mysore campus, and Department of Mass Communication, Coimbatore campus. I now invite Dr. U. Krishnakumar sir, the Director, Dean, Faculty of Arts, Media and Commerce of our campus for the presidential address and to introduce our speakers for the 3-day FDP program.
Thank you. Om Amriteshwari Namaha. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our beloved Amma, Sadguru Sri Mata Amritandami Devi, the world-renowned humanitarian leader, spiritual guru and divine mother to millions of her followers and devotees and well-wishers the world over. More than that, Amma is guiding this university, the Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, which is ranked among the top 5 universities in the country by the National Institutional Ranking Framework of the Ministry of HRD's Department of Higher Education. Amma is guiding us every moment of this growth of this university in implementing a system of education where it is not just meant for living alone, but the education for life as well. Life embedded with human values and compassion. And let me at the outset congratulate and appreciate the lead departments who have taken the initiative to organize this well required but wanted series on the NEP 2020, which I am sure will deliver quite a few good deliverables, promising deliverables during these next 3 days. And the lead departments who took the initiative to this were the Department of Visual Media and Communication at this campus of the Amrita School of Arts and Sciences at Kochi campus, and the co-organizers, the Department of Commerce and Management of the Kochi campus, the Department of Visual Communication at the Mysore campus, Department of Mass Communication at the Coimbatore campus, and all the heads of departments of these campuses have richly contributed towards coordinating, towards getting the experts into the platform to deliver the rich inputs. So, because of the paucity of time, I don't want to mention every one of them by their names, but then the effort they have been taking over the last few days is commendable, extremely commendable. And it is most gratifying that representing the Amrita University, Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, the Director Global Ranking and Accreditation agreed to be here during this occasion. He has already logged in into the system. And also for the inaugural address as well as for the next session, detailed session, Dr. Lina Chandranwadia graciously agreed to deliver her observations on the National Education Policy 2020. A warm welcome to every one of you, humble pranams to every one of you. I'll take only 5 to 7 minutes for my presidential address, and I'll be also introducing Dr. Rick Rahman. All the organizers of the seminar have been authorized to introduce the respective guests of honor and key speakers one by one. And from my side, I would like to observe these pages and pages of data on NEP 2020 brought out by the ministry. Says very clearly one thing: the education for living should be coupled with values and human compassion, sustainability, and also it should be for the purpose of the human life to sustain. And also it has envisioned the keen interest for the systematic process of learning. Learning not just by hearting something, but systematic process of learning, and also inculcate the spirit of what is one's inner realm, what the inner spirit of the person concerned, what subject that person wanting to do, what course he is inclined, his inner spirit is inclined to do. Even very subtle understanding of this, you can see it in the NEP 2020 document. Quite naturally, one of the concerns about NEP 2020 for the present generation of teachers, and probably to some extent to some of the students, what I have found through interactions among many people, that how is it going to affect the HR policies of the different universities and different departments? How is it going to affect the HR management? But then that very clearly envisages every one of those who are taking up teaching has to be a learner right from when he was a student till he dies. One should be a student. One should be continuously learning, without which the education cannot sustain its quality. And this is what Amma, our Chancellor of the University, Sadhguru Srimata Amrita Devi, also stresses importance on. Everyone involved in this process, everyone involved in the teaching process should be contributing towards his research, which envisages continuous learning. So more about it will be spoken by Dr. Rahman after the inaugural address. And I would like to also mention, I have been assigned the duty of just mentioning briefly what are the sessions going to be. The session immediately after a brief 5-minute formal inaugural address by Srimati Lina Chandranwadia, Dr. Lina Chandranwadia. It will be by Dr. Rick Rahman. He will be addressing for about 10-12 minutes. After that, Dr. Lina Chandranwadia, Observer Research Foundation, Mumbai, and member of the drafting committee of NEP 2020. Since she is quite experienced with what the vision for NEP 2020 is. Any project, when we envision something, the challenges and effectiveness of the strategic implementation is very important. That is why we have put the first session itself pointing towards that keynote. And then the session 2 today from 3 to 4:30 will be by Dr. Shakila T. Shamsu, Officer on Special Duty at the National Education Policy, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of HRD, Government of India, New Delhi. Dr. Shakila will be speaking on the NEP 2020, an overview. Session 3 will be handled by Professor Dr. Anubhuti Yadav, the head of the Department of New Media and Information Technology, and also the course director of Advertising and Public Relations at the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, New Delhi. The topic will be curricular aspects of new media and public relations. The session 4 from 10:30 to 12 will be by Dr. Madhu Vij, Professor of Faculty of Management Studies at the University of Delhi and at New Delhi, and topic will be structuring the curriculum and design in management. The session 5 will be by Ritvich Bhaumik, Dr. Ritvich Bhaumik. He is the convener of the DLC Design Program and Associate Professor, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences and Design Program at the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Kanpur. That will be from that will be session 5, and his topic will be New Media, Art and Education, Challenges and Possibility. Then the session 6 will be by Shri Vashikaran Rajendran. He is the Managing Director of Bell Printers Private Limited at Madurai, and he will be representing one of the industry segments which are probably very apt in the what you call proliferation of information. So he will be talking more on the sustainability and applied design. The day 3 we will see the session 7 by Dr. V. Shanmuga Sundaram, Professor, Faculty of Commerce, Banaras Hindu University, BHU, Varanasi. He will be delivering the talk on structuring curriculum design in commerce. Session 8 will be by Dr. Kanchan K. Malik, Professor of the UNESCO Chair on Community Media, University of Hyderabad, handling the topic on changing paradigms in communication and media education. The session 9 again will be handled by an industry expert who has been in the foremost forefront of the industry, advertising industry and the branding industry. He is a principal consultant of R.K. Sami BBDO Private Limited. He is also a fellow and accredited management teacher at the All India the Management Association. He is also the regional president South of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, President Operations Society of India, Kochi chapter. He will be talking on changing paradigms in brand communication, structuring curriculum. And then the validity session will be presided over by the guest of honor, Dr. Umar Shankar Pandey, who is Associate Professor and Head, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, Surendranath College for Women, Kolkata. And he is also the editor of one of the foremost journals in media education in India, one of the foremost international journals, the Media Watch Journal. It's a peer-reviewed Q1 journal. It's the journalist in the quarter one, and these are all the sessions. What I find over the days of the efforts, the organizers have conglomerated so many deliberations which are going to be, going to happen, throw open very rich insights into the NEP 2020's essential aspects. And with this, let me take this opportunity to introduce my own colleague and the colleague at the Amrita Vishwavidyapitham. Before the formal inaugural address, the guest of honor for the formal inaugural address will be introduced by Dr. Balasubramaniam, head of the Department of Commerce and Management at this campus. Before that, I would like to briefly introduce Dr. Rick Rahman. Dr. Rick Rahman is the Director of Global Rankings and Accreditation of the Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, CREATE, worked as Executive Director of Informix IBM at the United States, He is a member of the National Mission on Education through ICT, Government of India. He is a member of BOD of Amrita Technology Business Incubator, who is also the advisor editor of the Journal of Educational Technology and Society. He is a senior member of the IEEE, and he has won awards like CSA Award for Excellence, awards at the HB Catalyst Summit in Beijing. Amrita Create won the first prize at the 26th Kerala Science Congress, and Dr. Rick Rahman has been leading the whole university into the quality consciousness, which is now at the top of the hem of affairs of the strategic decisions at the university concerning education, policies, all policies regarding academic, HR, infrastructure, everything. And he is taking a lead role in all these portfolios. So before welcoming the Chief Guest of Honor, Dr. Lina Chandranwadia, I would like to offer my humble pranams and hearty welcome to Dr. Rick Rahman. Now, I request Dr. P. Balasubramaniam, Head of the Department of Commerce and Management, and also he is the Chairperson of the Board of Studies of the Amrita Vishwavidyapitham for Commerce and Management. So, Dr. Balu. Thank you, everyone. My humble pranams to everyone again.
Om Amriteshwari Namaha. It is with immense pleasure that I would like to introduce our first speaker of the day, Dr. Lina Chandranwadia, Observer Research Foundation, Mumbai, member of the Drafting Committee, National Education Policy 2020. Dr. Lina Chandranwadia is one of the India's most prominent face in leading educational reformations. She is a researcher par excellence whose contribution towards policy advocacy in the field of education and skill development has been significantly remarkable. Having in the field of education, he received her PhD in physics from the prestigious Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. She has been involved with postdoctoral research in the domain of higher performance computing. She has also served as a researcher with several eminent institutes in India and abroad, including IIT Mumbai and CERN in Switzerland. Dr. Chandran has also made her marks in the corporate sector, having served as a senior vice president and CTO at Netcore Solutions Private Limited. Since 2010, Dr. Lina Chandranwadia has been part of Observer Research Foundation's Mumbai Center as a senior fellow honors and is actively engaged with creating new waves in the Indian educational systems. Her focus area includes blending the use of ICTs in education, especially in the field of medicines and engineering, and has recently shifted her interest towards the technical and vocational training as well. Besides serving as a member of task force for drafting Karnataka State Educational Policy in 2015, she has more importantly served as both senior consultant of the drafting committee and member of the technical secretariat of the rather innovative National Educational Policy 2020, chaired by the renowned Dr. Kasturi Rangan. So we are therefore extremely obliged to have you among our midst for gracing the occasion with your wise words and with this note, ma'am. So I cordially invite you to deliver the inaugural speech of the day of NEP 2020 for higher education, the ground realities, challenges and effectiveness of the strategic implementation. So thank you very much, ma'am. So the inaugural address, the ma'am will addressing for maximum of 10 minutes. Thank you. Namah
Thank you, Professor Balasubramaniam. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be part of the faculty development program at Amrita University, a university that is so well known and so highly regarded and a treasure for our country. So it's a great pleasure to be with you all. We are still in the first month of the new year and a new decade. And it's a year that is beginning with a lot of, hope and gratitude because the disruption that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused in everyone's life is at least promising to ease in this year itself, which is a miracle. It is truly a miracle. The hope is in the form of vaccines that have started to roll out only a few days ago. And these have come in record time from around the world. Normal time for vaccine development is 10 years, and we've got something in about a year. And these are gifts of science and technology. They are gifts of education and research and of human ingenuity. And for all of us in academia, this year is also a special year because we will see the beginning of the implementation of NEP 2020, a policy that has captured the imagination of most Indians since its launch on 29 July 2020. Of course, before that, the longer version of the draft policy was out in May 2019. So there's been a lot of discussion around these topics. As Dr. Kasturi Rangan likes to say, this is not a transformation, an incremental policy. It is a transformational policy. It cannot be implemented through small tweaks here and there. It is trying to change the system around completely from the present one of being very control oriented, very prescriptive, to a new one which is student centric. Dr. Krishna Kumar, Director Krishna Kumar mentioned that in his own speech this morning, that it is trying to find out what it is that the student wants and give it to the student. So it's trying to be student centric, it's trying to be agile and responsive to the students' needs and to be a very innovative system. So the challenge with the implementation of this policy is that the end goals of the policy are very well defined. The policy, it has been stated in the document, we know where we want to go, but we have not specified the pathways because the pathways of how to go to where we want to reach is left to every individual institution. And the emphasis is on giving autonomy to institutions so that they can charter their own paths to the new end goal of the policy. And an institution like Amrita, which is sort of an institution of eminence and with extensive experience, can certainly lead the way. But of course, it calls for a lot of leadership, a very high quality leadership among both the managements of the institutions as well as faculty members. So the title of today's, 3 days, the start of today's faculty development program, Remoulding Academic Leaders, is particularly apt. It's actually an excellent title and an excellent goal to have, because what we need is leadership from a large number of people. The implementation of this policy will also call for considerable degree of collaboration and cooperation and sharing of best practices and courses and credits and know-hows, which we will see in the days to come, actually. Like I said in the beginning, it's a matter of pride that Amrita is an institution of eminence. And so it has the mandate to lead the transformative implementation of NEP. And, education is a subject that hasn't changed a lot. A friend of mine likes to put two pictures close together. One of them is the transformation in aircrafts from the time of the Wright brothers till today. There's a sea change in the kind of planes that we see flying in the air. But, the classroom in education has not changed at all very much in over 100 years. But that's changing now. It's changing now because of the advent of technology. And the pandemic has actually shown us has taken us decades forward in terms of response, the forced emergency response to the pandemic, which forced everybody to move online. But it underlined to everyone the importance of technology and the role that technology can play in education. So going ahead, we will see a much larger role for edtech companies in supplementing the educational offerings. And of course, there is no reason why educational institutions cannot themselves be part of this edtech revolution. A good example is edX from MIT, which is revolutionizing, education. So many, I mean, there was 100 times increase in the enrollment of students in, places like edX and Coursera and Udemy and so on during the pandemic. So why not Amrita, for example? I'm sure maybe you have it. I'm sorry if I don't know, but these are very important things. Similarly, the upgrad in India has another model where they are tying up with prominent educational institutions like IIT Madras and IIIT Bangalore and various others to offer their courses. So, and the NEP enables all this. What it does is that it actually provides this academic bank of credits, which allows credits to be shared across institutions within a university and across universities, and even across public and private universities. So this is going to be a game changer, and we will see education changing a lot because of that. People will stick to teaching what they are good at and share credits, courses and credits from other subjects with other institutions. The other important message of the NEP is that the higher education institutions must contribute actively to the economy and to society. And this is critical for many reasons. A healthy industry academia relationship will not only benefit students through apprenticeships and internships, but also they will benefit faculty members through opportunities for consulting and sabbatical positions, and it'll benefit the HEIs through access to research funds and scholarship for their students and so on. So we need higher education institutions need to move from the fringes of society into the center, actually, and take a much more active role in defining, contributing to the economy, which is very important. We know that unless our economy grows fast enough, there will not be enough jobs for our students, and there will not be enough economic prosperity. So the pandemic has done a lot more than just provide a Sputnik moment for technology. It has given us all a reset moment. We've all had time to think, what have we been doing? Would we like, what if we had something to change? What would we like to change? It has given us time with family. Parents have learned to appreciate teachers, especially parents of young school children, who have learned what a stellar job teachers do, sort of keeping all their children together and teaching them the things that they need to know. And, students have learned to appreciate their teachers and their higher educational institutions and what they get from there, including their peer learning opportunities and so on. And of course, we have to keep 1 minute to think about all the people who lost their livelihoods and their businesses. So this is a very good time for new beginnings. And so it is important for all of us to come together to reaffirm our commitment to the younger generation so that we can equip them to deal with the challenges of coping with a fast changing knowledge economy, and also to reaffirm our own commitment to the future of this country. So I would like to wish everyone a very successful event and also a very happy and successful new year. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. That was really thought-provoking. Now I invite the guest of honor, Dr. Rick Rahman, sir, Director, Amrita Center for Accreditation, Ranking, and Eminence.
Thank you so much, and my humble pranams to our Chancellor Amma, my humble pranams to all of you there, Dr. Krishna Kumar, Dr. Lina Chandranwadia, and all those who are logged in from different parts of India. And as always, Dr. Krishna Kumar takes a lead in bringing topics to university. Of course, we have been talking about NEP 2020 at the Academic Council and several other places, but formally organizing an event involving the faculty, students, and most importantly, people like Dr. Lina, who has been a member of the drafting committee, and then several other speakers between today and the next 2 days. I would say an outstanding effort by Dr. Krishna Kumar and his team members. So excellent work. What I would like to share is, a few thoughts about our journey towards or becoming an institution of eminence. And as we were going along, then came the national education policy, and then how do we bring these two things together? And Dr. Lina very beautifully mentioned a point that caught my attention, the contribution to the society, and that is paramount. I think Dr. Krishna Kumar talked about an education not just for living but for life, and that is what is the core philosophy of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham under Chancellor Amma's leadership. So kindly allow me to take you through a few slides and show you a beautiful and incredible journey towards IOE. And absolutely this has been possible because of every faculty member, teaching staff, non-teaching staff, and then students of this institution. I'm going to share my presentation. You're able to see my first slide?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so, this vision for an institution of eminence is directly originating from the Prime Minister of India, Honorable Modi, and PMO office is directly putting together a vision for how do we take about 20 institutions in India, 10 private and then 10 public, to be globally recognized. And it was quite an ambitious scheme and a very rigorous process of about a year and a half of selecting the universities. The panel that they put together had outstanding academicians and then world-class university leaders, both from India and abroad. And then they did their work extremely diligently, and they were able to identify 10 private and 10 public universities. And of course, we are extremely grateful to Amma's grace and an outstanding effort from the Amrita fraternity, our industry partners, that we are one of those among the 10 institutions of eminence. What exactly do they mean by an institution of eminence? They are looking for excellence in research, excellence in academics, teaching, and though your priority is India, national priority, but at the same time, the work that you are doing also has a global impact. And the last one that we have added, and that directly comes from the vision mission of this institution, which we call as societal impact. We are almost obsessed with doing anything and everything that has got a societal impact. So I would say these are the four indicators that tells whether it's an institution of eminence. And we have a very aggressive timeline. Within 5 years of getting this tag, you must be recognized in a global ranking framework, and then thereafter you must be at the top 100. And we need to accept that the people who are there in the top 100 or top 200, they are also thinking and planning their moves. So nobody is willing to vacate their place in any way. These are the world's best institutions from around the world: the Oxford, the Cambridge, the Cornell, the MIT. And so, of course, our own IITs are also there. Indian Institute of Science is also there. And so quite a challenging race that we have. A very quick background, if most of those are from Amrita, they are probably aware, but I'll just quickly share. We are still a very young university. 2003, we came into being. UGC gave us an approval. And then from day one, we started off as a multidisciplinary university spread across 6 campuses. We have a very large Medicine Health Campus in Kochi. Then we have the Arts and Social Sciences Campus that Dr. Krishna Kumar heads. And then we have our headquarters in Coimbatore, where there's a School of Engineering, a School of Business, Mass Communication, Social Work. And in Amritapuri, which is where Chancellor Amma is located, we have a School of Engineering, Business, Traditional Medicine, School of Ayurveda, School of Biotechnology, and a very new school that we just launched about 6 months ago, a School of Sustainable Development. So very, very multidisciplinary from day one, as opposed to the path IITs or IIMs chose, which was initially a single stream, and now they are also diversifying. And this is one of the visions of NEP also, that we move away from being a single discipline to a multidisciplinary. Thanks to Amma's vision, we are multidisciplinary as we move on. A little over 20,000 students, a little over 1,750 faculty, and over 250 UG, PG, and PhD and postdoc programs. Our brand new campus is coming up in the north for the first time, our entry into north in Faridabad. Due to COVID, it's been a little bit delayed, but I think in 2021, with God's grace, we should be able to open our campus. It's a 2,200 super specialty bed hospital, which will have a college of medicine, nursing, pharmacy, dentals, and then eventually all the other schools like arts and sciences, engineering, and business. It's hard to express or talk about Amma, who's the guiding principle for this university. Very simple vision, very simple mission for this institution. An education for life, a research that is not just driven out of head, but also out of heart, compassion-driven research. And whatever we do, it not only helps India, but abroad. And I think Dr. Krishna Kumar also mentioned about this one. The NEP is talking about it. How do we inculcate, a culture of heart in our staff, in our students also, that is based on enduring values and inner strength? We do think research is very important. We are one of the top 10 research institutions in the country, along with IITs and Indian Institute of Science. But for us, the culmination of all research, it should lead to a societal impact, whether it is using haptics for empowering women to build toilets, or it is our wireless sensor networks developing sensors for detecting landslides, or it is about developing devices that tracks fishermen who go into deep seas almost 60 kilometers. In all of them, how do you bring technology and society together? And that is what is the hallmark of Amrita. Very quickly, I'll take you through the journey. Back in 2003, we got the UGC recognition, and then immediately, there were two areas, emerging topics that were identified, and Department of Science and Technology has set up a core center for us. One is on biomedical, and other one on cybersecurity. And this is again back then in almost 20 years ago that we set up a center on cybersecurity. And today it is one of the nation's leading center on cryptography and crypto analytics. Thereafter we started looking at how do we collaborate with universities outside India. A large percentage of faculty members who initially came to Amrita, they were from abroad. They had some excellent experience and going to schools and colleges in India. They studied abroad, got their PhD, and they came back. And then through them, we were able to establish this finest collaborations. And then thereafter, two other areas of excellence, and one on wireless sensors technology, the other one under the Nano Mission of India from Professor C.N.R. Rao. We set up a nanotechnology center. We got our first international award from UNESCO on National Literacy Mission, and NAC, which is the highest assessment and accreditation body in the country, gave us the young A grade. We are probably the youngest university to get the top A grade, 5 years into our existence. Dr. Lina talked about edX and MIT. These are absolutely finest MOOC platforms, but Amrita itself, because of our distributed geographies, we had to develop our own software through which we will connect the students across these 3 different states. Amrita View, which is in a virtual interactive e-learning world. And this we started off as our own effort. Eventually, the government of India recognized, and the National Mission on ICT made it as a public domain software. A little over 3,200 universities in the country downloaded this and using it as an interactive learning platform. Similarly, the virtual labs and online labs. Very quickly, I'll mention, we had the fortune of having Dr. Lee Hartwell, who's a Nobel laureate for his pioneering work in cancer research medicine from Arizona State University. He joined us. We got the National Healthcare Excellence Award from FICCI right around 2013. It was Amma's vision that our students, our staff should develop awareness, sensitivity towards the problems of people living in rural community, and this can be only done if our students and staff actually go live in those villages. And so we adopted close to 108 villages in 21 states, and we launched a program called Living Labs. So about 3 to 4 weeks, our students would go live in these communities, observe them, and see how they can come up with some solutions for these challenges. And now I think in the last count, we had a little over 100,000 beneficiaries going across 21 states. Now it has gone to 108 villages. And Amrita is also very proud to have 2 chairs from UNESCO, India's first UNESCO chair on gender equality and women's empowerment. And the second UNESCO chair we just now got about 4 months ago, focusing on sustainable development, which is built on the Amrita Living Labs program. And these are very unique centers, again, that aligns with the vision, mission of the university, and also alignment with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Then, our Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences in Kochi, they do some pioneering work. Their double arm transplant is the first in Asia, the 4th in the world. We have a technology business incubator that is 5th ranked in the country. And recently, an Amrita School of Biotechnology and Tata Institute of Genetics and Society have signed an MOU for antimicrobial resistance. And this is one area that is leading a lot into the research on pandemics as well. So now they have shifted their focus into infectious diseases. A new school of agriculture, and finally the culmination of all of that is, we are the 4th best ranked in India. We are a very research intensive university, and as you can look at, if you a measure of quality of our research work in terms of publications, our citations, our research grants, our international MOUs with top ranked institutions, and the diversity at the university in terms of international students, international faculties, and the culture of innovation as measured by patents, and all of them have very steep trajectories. And most recently, Stanford University published the world's top 2% scientists, and they look at, again, the quality of work measured by citations, H-index, their collaborations with authors from around the world. And these are our finest professors who we won this award. They are all, again, in different areas. Professor Manisha in networking, Professor Shanti, who heads our Nano Center in polymers, and Professor Jaykumar, who's part of Shanti's team, and Professor Madhav Datta in energy and engineering. And again, it is a testament to the research culture at Amrita. And the result of all, both academic and research excellence in rankings, Times Higher Education, which is one of the world's top ranking agencies, ranks close to about 1,400 universities in the world. Looking at those academic and research parameters, they have consistently ranked Amrita as #1 private institution. QS is a similar agency, and they have also given us a #1 ranking for international faculty. And it is not just the overall ranking. Again, the mission that we talked about, the compassion-driven research, societal impact. So if you look at another rankings that is measuring the societal impact or economic impact of the work that we are doing, and here they are using 17 sustainable development goals as a proxy to measure. And so worldwide in clean water and sanitation, which is an SDG 6, we are top 50 ranked in the world. And in SDG 4, which is about quality education, we are top 200 in the world, and so on. So as much as we are part of the generic university rankings, but our vision mission is very clear. How do we have an impact to the society that we live in? And of course, our own National Institute of Ranking framework, starting from being a fourth ranked in the medical, we are seventh, and then in our pharmacy, dental, and then engineering as well. The core of Amrita's philosophy is revolving around 5 I's, and the I's are innovation, international, industry, and then of course the priority being India, and the main cog that runs all of the other 4 pillars is interdisciplinary, which comes from the compassion-driven research angle. This is a huge infrastructure investment that we have taken to satisfy institution of eminence requirements. As you can see that this chart was made in late 2018. So we have 19, we have 20. We lost a little bit of time due to COVID, but pretty much we will be on track. So as you can see how Amrita is planning to be in the top 500 and in top 200 of the world. And these are some major research and development investment that is coming across. And this is a top of the world, an integrated medical research facility that is coming up in Faridabad. Here you have clinicians and academicians and doctors working together. Typically in a hospital, doctors will be a lot more focused on patients and their specialities, but how do you put clinicians and researchers next to them in the same building, and so that the research can also be done. So this is the first time we are attempting an integrated medical research facility in Faridabad. Like any other institution under Amma's leadership, we have prioritized our response to COVID, and these are some finest, low-cost, rapid prototyping initiatives, and actually many of them have now moved on to full deployment and technology commercialization as well. Be it a teleoperated a transportation robo or an ultraviolet disinfection I think the ideas itself, many of them might be talking, but having it up and running, deployed in a cost-effective way, and I think that is the crux of our response. Similarly, a remote ICU bedside, there was a lot of talk about a low-cost economy or a low-touch economy, a social distancing. So how in those environment, we develop solutions for them. Another one is low-cost remote IT-enabled, IoT-enabled bedside monitor. And then powered, and this particular device that you're seeing, a powered air purifying respirator, typically the cost is about 75,000 rupees. And I think the last I checked, we were able to drive the cost to about 25,000, and they've launched at our Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences. And so extremely agile, extremely responsive to the situation. The faculty and the students did an outstanding job. Coming to today's topic, there has been quite a bit of conversations with respect to NEP, and this is the first one where we are going to directly hear from people who were members of the drafting committee. So I look forward to their guidance. But certainly, the academic year 2021, we have already thought about how to go for a 4-year bachelor's degree with research, and then they can proceed to a 1-year master's or a 2-year master's there. And we have launched in a very big way our online master's program with an exit option, which I would say is the most attractive thing to people who missed out on getting a formal degrees, and they are hard pressed for time. And if they are not willing to commit the 2 years for their master's program, can they do a 1-year program and then exit with something? And so a great effort from NEP in this regard. And this is again something very unique. Not many people would be thinking. It is also our online program, an incredible Mahabharata, a never told before approach, a 6-week online certification program. I think it is getting launched as we speak. And so there are many elements of NEP that we have fully embraced and moving on. But I certainly look forward to esteemed speakers from this session and see how do we bring forward many of those. For a university like us, which comes under about 6 or 7 different regulatory councils, pharmacy, dental, nursing, medical, Ayurveda, AICTE, UGC, it is a welcome news that there is going to be a nodal agency, HECI, and under which many of these things will be combined and the overlap will be minimized. And so we look forward to that day in 2021 when this structure becomes a reality, especially for a multidisciplinary university like us. There can be tremendous savings in cost and energies, when we have such a unified regulatory structure. Finally, I would like to end with a quote from our Chancellor Amma. Amrita and University and 4 other international partners and United Nations academic impact, we conducted the first conference at UN on technology for sustainable development, July 8, 2015. A little over 600 finest academicians from around the world were part of this 4-day event, and Amma was a keynote speaker. And then Amma said something that was so profound. We have heard about it, but hearing it again gave us such a very clear vision and guidance on what we should do. Today, universities and their researchers are ranked mainly based on the amount of funding they receive, the number of papers they publish, and their intellectual caliber. But along with this, we should take into consideration how much we have been able to use research to serve the lowest and the most vulnerable strata of society. In our approach to sustainable development, we should not forget that it is by strengthening the people at the base of the pyramid that the entire edifice of society grows healthy and strong. So Amma continues to be our vision, our mission, and guidance to take this university along this path of institution of eminence. Om Namah Shivaya, and thank you so much, Dr. Krishna Kumar and team, for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for the valuable address. Let's conclude the inauguration and begin the sessions with Shanti Mantra.
ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्